best news is that there is abundance of evidence coming from the emerging science around neuroplasticity, which really just means our ability to rewire our brain, that mindfulness can have a profound impact on an incredible array of brain-related issues. Have you ever wished there was one simple thing that you could learn today, right now, that could reduce stress, assist with focus and memory, help with sleep, and improve both your brain health and your immune response? Would you believe that a practice as simple as mindfulness could literally rewire your brain? Today, we're diving into the science behind it and how it can transform your life. This week, I want to share one of the most powerful and most underestimated tools in my resiliency toolbox. Something so simple that a lot of people underestimate the profound impact it can have on so many areas of their life. Before we dive in, though, just a quick reminder, if you're interested in hearing more about how you can transform your own journey, head over to www.transformativejourneys.ca. You can subscribe to get notifications when a new episode drops, and I will send you my resiliency toolkit absolutely free. You know how life throws us curveballs? I believe in the incredible human capacity to heal and grow from life's challenges. We all face adversity in life, whether it's dealing with loss, overcoming personal challenge, or navigating mental wellness. Nobody gets through this journey of life without a few storms. Welcome to Transformative Journeys. I'm your host, Joanna LaRue. And through various challenges on my journey, including the devastating loss of my son in a workplace tragedy in 2006, I have navigated a messy path towards healing and rebuilding. It's been a journey of self-discovery that has taught me invaluable lessons about coping, healing, and transforming my experiences into tools for personal growth. Each week, I'll share my thoughts and insights and dig into strategies that can empower you to rediscover yourself, learn about transforming pain into power, building confidence to navigate life's challenges, and cultivating a life of meaning and joy. Join me on this journey of exploration and transformation. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your favorite platform and tap the bell icon to be notified when new episodes drop. So let's dig into today's episode. Welcome back to Transformative Journeys with Joanna. And guess what? I'm Joanna. The powerful tool I'm going to be talking today about is mindfulness. And for me, it truly is one of the most powerful tools in my toolbox. This episode's going to be a little longer than usual, but stay with me here because it's such an important one in my life. I won't be going all woo-woo, I promise. I'm going to be giving you some of the most powerful strategies I use to develop and maintain my resilience. Mindfulness is often confused with meditation, or people assume that they're the same thing, but they're actually very different practices. And I love mindfulness because for me, it's a multi-purpose tool. It helps me as a coping strategy, but I also use it as part of my ongoing self-care. And who doesn't love when you get twice the bang for your buck? So let's first clarify what mindfulness is and isn't, and differentiate it from meditation. So while the two practices can overlap or evolve into one another, and they can certainly complement each other, each is a very different activity and serves a different purpose. Mindfulness is literally taking a few moments throughout your day to be fully aware of what you're doing and feeling or experiencing in the present moment. Mindfulness can be practiced at any time, wherever we are, whoever we're with, and whatever we're doing. It doesn't necessitate sitting cross-legged on a yoga mat or pillow or chanting mantras. It doesn't require hours of practice to get perfect, and literally anyone can do it. You can practice mindfulness while you're brushing your teeth, while you're drinking your coffee or tea, while you're petting your dog or your cat, while you're folding your laundry. Meditation, on the other hand, is more structured. It involves setting aside intentional time to sit quietly with yourself and cultivate stillness within. It's learning to observe your thoughts and emotions and then releasing them in order to still your mind. In essence, I always say mindfulness is cultivating intentional awareness of something, while meditation is cultivating intentional concentration on no thing. So if you find the idea of meditation intimidating, I promise you mindfulness has many of the same benefits and is much simpler to implement into everyday life. It can literally be for anyone. And for any doubters out there, I'm going to dig into the science behind the power of mindfulness. And there is now an impressive and growing body of research backing up the benefits of mindfulness. It's way more than just feeling more zen. Brain scans show that regular mindfulness practice can actually physically change your brain. Scientists have used MRI scans to monitor how our brains respond both during mindfulness practice as well as after. And evidence shows that particular areas of our brains react in positive ways in response to regular mindfulness practice, and that these changes have real life benefits. It's incredibly effective for stress reduction. Practicing mindfulness can reduce activity in an area of our brains called the amygdala. And that's the region of the brain that's responsible for our fight, flight, or freeze response, which means it can also be used as a strategy to cope with anxiety. Regular practice can improve our focus and memory by increasing the thickness of our hippocampus in the frontal lobe of our brain, which controls things like problem solving, concentration, learning, and mindfulness has been shown to lessen our brain's response to pain by reducing the activity of the neurons in the area of the brain that's associated with like pain perception, resulting in people feeling less physical discomfort. Practicing mindfulness helps shift our body into something called parasympathetic mode, which is our rest and digest state. So it can help you with falling asleep more easily and staying asleep longer. And because it helps to reduce stress and anxiety, mindfulness can also be beneficial for digestive issues like IBS and other digestive issues that are stress related. So by lowering stress and therefore chronic levels of cortisol, which is our stress hormone, regularly practicing mindfulness can help our immune system function more efficiently. And the best news is that there is abundance of evidence coming from the emerging science around neuroplasticity, which really just means our ability to rewire our brain, that mindfulness can have a profound impact on an incredible array of brain-related issues. So mindfulness isn't just a trend or a buzzword to get social media attention. It's a science-backed strategy for resilience, which means that healing and growth aren't just possible, they're trainable. So you might be thinking, "Oh, I can't do mindfulness. I can't focus. I'm not spiritual. I don't have time. My mind won't shut off." And that's totally okay. Because what I'm going to share with you today might not just change your perception about that, it might even just change your life. One of the things I really love about mindfulness is that it is such a simple and easy practice to develop. Not particularly athletic, that's perfectly fine. No fitness level required. You don't need any sort of physical abilities or special skills. Struggle with concentration? That's okay. Mindfulness doesn't require concentration, but it'll help you develop it. Tight budget? Not a problem. There is no financial investment necessary to start practicing mindfulness. No expensive equipment to purchase, no special clothing to buy. In fact, one of my favorite summer mindfulness exercises requires me to go barefoot. Mobility issues, or maybe you're the fidgety type, you are neither required to sit still nor to move while you're practicing mindfulness. There are techniques for both, so literally anybody can do it. And best of all, if you think you have no time for just one more thing to fit into your day, it doesn't take a lot of time, and it can actually be incorporated into things that you already do all the time. I truly love that mindfulness meets you exactly where you are, whether it's while you're brushing your teeth, at the kitchen table with your tea, washing your dishes, or walking in nature. So now that I have you totally pumped to try mindfulness for yourself, you might be asking, so how does one practice mindfulness? I'm going to share some of my favorite super simple mindfulness activities, and then I'll get into some of the more, shall we say, in-depth mindfulness practices that I've either explored or I actually use fairly frequently. Let's start with the easiest one of all, the one that you can literally do anywhere, even with your coworker or your boss sitting beside you, just pretending you're reading a document or inspecting something while you do it. I promise they won't even notice what you're doing. I call this one mindful breathing. You're literally just going to focus on your breath for 1 to 3 minutes. Inhale slowly. You don't need to take a deep breath or a loud breath. Just slowly inhale, feeling your lungs expand and noticing the rise and fall of your chest. Hold your breath for 1 to 3 seconds before slowly exhaling. The trick is to really focus on just your breathing. If your mind wanders, just gently bring it back to your breath. This one is way more powerful than people give it credit for, and I think I use it almost every day at work. The next one I use frequently is called mindful moments, and it's also really easy to slip into your day. Did you just notice a bird singing outside your window? Stop. Pay attention, even if it's just for a moment, to only that bird's song. When your child or grandchild, niece, nephew puts their arms around you to give you a hug, stop. Close all of your other thoughts and pay attention to just that moment. Petting your dog, your cat, your rabbit, again, stop. Drop all other thoughts and just pay attention in that moment to only that. The feel of their fur, the warmth of their body, the color of their eyes, any sounds they might make while you're petting them. Pay attention to just you and them. In a stressful meeting, slip into the bathroom afterwards and wash your hands mindfully, paying close attention to every detail of just washing your hands. Pick up something and examine it closely, focusing your attention only on that object, using both your eyes and all of the rest of your senses to examine that object, just for 30 seconds or a minute. And if you're in a stressful situation, stop. Pull off to the side of the road, of course, or, step into a bathroom or another quiet place if you're able to. And this is where we get into the slow, deep breathing. So you're just going to take several slow, deep breaths, paying attention only to your breath. In 1, 2, 3, 4, out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you can, imagine breathing in clean white light and breathing out your stress or anxiety as cloudy, gray, foggy, smoky yuck. Just remember that even 30 seconds of intentional awareness counts and can be calming and beneficial. Another one of my favorites is a sensory check-in. And it's another one that I use when I'm really stressed or really frustrated. The only thing difficult about it sometimes is remembering which number goes with which check-in point. So you're just going to stop what you're doing and take note of 5 things you can see, which, that one's pretty easy. You just look around you. 4 things that you can touch. If you're in a place where there's not a lot around you, touch your pant leg or your other hand, touch your hair, whatever you're sitting on. You get it. Then you're going to take note of 3 things you can hear. This is where it gets more powerful because you often really have to pay attention to the little things. If the traffic is loud, can you hear a specific engine or muffler? If you are in a quiet park, can you hear a bird, the wind in the leaves of the trees, a squirrel chattering nearby? Then you're going to think of or pay attention to 2 things you can smell. It might be getting tougher now. This is the part where my anxiety typically starts to detach because I often really have to concentrate to find 2 different things I can smell in my immediate vicinity. And then the last one is 1 thing you can taste. That might be the last sip of the coffee you drank, the mint flavor of your toothpaste. If you can't come up with or can't taste something right now, take a sip of something and pay attention to how it tastes. So now let's get into some more, let's say, in-depth mindfulness practices I incorporate when I have a little bit more time. One of my favorites is mindful eating, and it's pretty self-explanatory, but it just means paying careful attention to just your meal. No distractions, no TV, no scrolling, no music or radio in the background, just the activity and sensations of eating your meal. Is your food hot or cold? How does it smell? What does it look like? The sound of the cutlery on your dish. Is the food salty, sweet, sour? What's the texture? Is it smooth, chunky, crunchy, gritty? Can you hear yourself chewing each mouthful? Does the flavor change while you're chewing it, or does it remain the same? Pay attention to your hunger signals while you're eating. Notice when you are starting to feel that sensation of being full. Another one of my favorites, not everyone enjoys washing the dishes, but I actually do, unless it's like the turkey dinner dishes. Ugh. So for me, mindfully washing the dishes is both enjoyable and soothing. In the book Miracle of Mindfulness by Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh, what he wrote about washing the dishes profoundly impacted the way I think about washing my dishes. He says, if while washing the dishes we only think of the cup of tea that awaits us, thus hurrying to get the dishes out of the way as if it were a nuisance, then we are not washing the dishes to wash the dishes. What's more, we're not alive during the time we are washing the dishes. In fact, we are completely incapable of realizing the miracle of life while standing at the sink. If we can't wash the dishes, the chances are we won't be able to drink our tea either. While drinking the cup of tea, we will only be thinking of other things, barely aware of the cup in our hands. Thus, we are sucked into the future, and we are incapable of actually living 1 minute of life. So I often now wash my dishes mindfully. I concentrate on everything from the minute I turn on the tap, the sound of the water coming out of the tap, as well as the sounds of it swishing in the sink as it fills, the scent of my dish soap and how the bubbles look as they're filling up the basin, the temperature of the water when I submerge my hands and how the suds actually feel, the feel and texture of each dish as I wash it, and the cloth in my hand, as well as how it feels rubbing against the dish. If I need to use a scrubber or a brush, I pay attention to what the texture of that is and how the feel of it is against the dish. And is it different? How is it different than the cloth? The sight of the suds flowing off of the dish as I rinse it, right through to watching and listening to the water run down the drain as I empty the sink. I usually air dry my dishes because I get lazy at this point. But if I'm drying the dishes, I continue to pay attention to all of the details using all of my senses while I dry each dish and put it away. I find it an incredibly soothing activity when I look at it as a mindfulness practice. Another extremely soothing favorites of mine is mindfully enjoying a cup of tea. Again, from that book, The Miracle of Mindfulness, drink your tea slowly and reverently, as if it is the axis on which the whole earth revolves, slowly, evenly, without rushing towards the future. So try having a mindful cup of tea, starting right from the moment that you pull a cup or mug out of the cupboard. Which cup did you choose? Is there a reason or an emotional attachment to that cup? Listen to the water as it comes out of the tap and fills the kettle. Are you using a bag or loose leaf? How does the bag feel? How does it smell? If you're using loose leaf, how do the leaves look? Are they large or small? Black, brown, green, some other shade? What sound do they make as you scoop them up? Do you put them into a bag? Or do you use a tea ball? What sound do they make as you place them into it? Do you put milk in your tea? How about sugar? Do you put it into the cup before or after? Pay attention to the sound of the water being poured over your tea. Does the water begin to change the color immediately, or does that happen slowly? Do you let it steep, or do you pull the bag or the tea ball out right away? What color is the tea in the cup when you like to pull it out? When you've finished making your tea, paying attention to every detail of that process, carefully carry your cup to somewhere quiet to sit. Touch the cup. Is it hot or just really warm? Do you wrap your hands around the warm or hot cup, or do you only use the handle? And once you're sitting comfortably, take your first sip, paying attention to the temperature and the taste. Did you blow on it before you took the sip? Did you make any sound? Enjoy at least a few moments of the rest of your cup of tea in mindfulness before you begin to move on with the rest of your day. And the final one I'm going to share with you is called the stop method. And for this mindfulness method, S stands for stop. Stop what you're doing and open your attention wide, taking in everything that's happening around you. T stands for take a slow, deep breath, tuning into the sensations of breathing. Gather your attention and focus on the exact sensation of breathing right now in this moment, paying attention to your breath in and out of your body. O stands for observe your body and emotions. What do you feel in your body? Your feet, your legs, your head, your arms, your shoulders. Are there any emotions present? Simply paying attention to whatever is present in your body. Widen your focus to be aware of your environment. What can you see, feel, smell, hear, and even taste? And then P stands for proceed with what you were doing, with whatever was going on in your day, with this new sense of mindful awareness. The opportunities for incorporating mindfulness into your day are pretty much unlimited. Try having a mindful shower, fully immersing yourself in the minute details of the experience of taking a shower. How about some mindful movement, which can be anything from taking a walk around the neighborhood without your headphones and paying attention to all of the sights and sounds and scents around you, to just getting up and walking around the room a bit. Nearly any routine that you do every day can be turned into a moment of mindfulness. The key isn't what you do, it's being present with what you're doing at the time, whatever that happens to be. To sum it up, mindfulness really allows us to develop a space between stimulus and response. Instead of reacting automatically, it teaches us to respond intentionally. And that's where deep healing begins to happen. It builds resiliency by helping you pause before reacting, recognize what you're feeling, ground yourself in the right now, and begin to rewire your emotional patterns. It's not about always being able to be perfectly calm. It's about building the capacity to return yourself to the right now and the strength to show up fully in your life, one moment at a time. Today, we explored the power of mindfulness, and we talked about what it is and what it isn't, as well as some of the scientifically proven benefits and how simple it can be to start. As we wrap up, understand that mindfulness isn't magic. It's not a quick fix either. What it is a powerful, proven tool that we can use as both coping strategies and self-care practices. If you're journaling along with this episode, here's your prompt for today. What would it feel like to be fully present, even for one moment in the middle of your day? Where could I invite mindfulness into my life this week? Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. If you know someone who's struggling with stress, make sure you share this episode. It could change the way they cope. And if you found it helpful, leaving a review helps others find these insights. To grab your free resiliency toolkit and explore more tools, visit www.transformativejourneys.ca. You can also find me on Instagram at transformativejourneys.joanna. Or join my private Facebook group to connect with others who are on this path as well. I will drop those links in the show notes. Also, hit that subscribe button on your favorite platform and tap the bell icon so you'll be notified when new episodes drop. In the next episode, I'm going to do a fun episode on 10 things I would tell my 20-year-old self. Some of it might not be what you think. Until then, this is Joanna reminding you that it doesn't matter if you fall. What matters is how well you bounce. This is Transformative Journeys. See you next time. Hey! Just a disclaimer, this podcast is for entertainment and informational purposes only and should not replace the advice of a medical or mental health expert. I am not a licensed counselor or therapist. In fact, I don't have a degree in anything, and there are no fancy letters after my name. I'm a full-time student at the School of Hard Knocks, University of Life, where I figure I'll graduate when I take my last breath. In other words, I'm just Joanna, a fellow human being on my journey through this thing called life, and your guide on this transformative journey.